about 40 miles from Portland. At 30 miles, I will pull up our ILS monitor to make sure that we do have the correct frequency. Our frequency today is 110.5, and that is for IPDX, one of the few ILS frequencies that I've come upon that are actually named properly. Crossing 10,000 feet, landing lights are going to go on. We picked up some rain. These windshield wipers do absolutely nothing other than for aesthetic. And I don't think they're even on. Yes, the windshield wipers are not available at the moment. So I guess I'll turn it off. Yeah, it's not doing anything. Unless it's moving so fast that I can't see it, which is possible. The temperature outside is 8 degrees Celsius, so we can turn off the de-icing. And we have hit 40 miles. It is nasty. This is what I imagine Northwest weather would be like all the time. This is like your stereotypical Northwest United States weather. We are 18 miles from Flower. We just crossed Vance. We're crossing Flower on, I believe, 7,000 feet. We're supposed to be at Flower, or 8,000 feet. We'll see if it actually levels off. We're supposed to be... No. But I'm going to level off the aircraft anyway, because I'm smarter than you, Airbus. What is the maximum temperature for de-icing? De-icing, negative 10 degrees Celsius is when you're supposed to turn on the de-icers for high altitude flight. But their airlines have their own protocols. My checklists say negative 10 degrees Celsius, TAT, which right now we're plus 10 degrees Celsius. So it's 50-something degrees Fahrenheit at 8,000 feet, which is pretty warm. I'll see if Portland put out a new METAR. And they have not in the last hour, so we are still dealing with the same information. Gonna hold here at 8,000 thereabouts until we hit until we hit Flower. We should pick up our ILS here shortly. I'll make sure and confirm that our frequency is in. Our ILS frequency is 110.5, so that is correct. We just haven't picked it up yet. And there you go, IPDX. We have picked up 10 right. So it appears that we pick it up around 25 miles, was what I've noticed over our last few flights. So I guess I'll note that for when we head back east later this week. Again, our schedule is published on our account's Twitter page. It's linked in our Twitch About section below the stream. So feel free to turn on notifications for our Twitter page so that you guys can know what's up and coming for the channel. I post frequently on there. Any alerts, any changes, anything like that will go to Twitter first. So make sure you follow that. Still holding here at 8,000. We're going to go Flower to full, I guess is how you want us to say it. Full sail. It's because we're near the water. And we just hit Flower. So at full, we're going to cross full at 7,000. So we can initiate that auto descent to 7,000. Winds, we still have a 70 knot crosswind at 7,500 feet, which is very strong. We picked up our glide slope and localizer actually, which is rare that you pick both up until you're establishing, but I'm glad something's going right today. It's been a good flight, just very windy and rainy. It's very dark too. Three miles from full. At full, we'll descend to 6,000 for sail, and then we will be at 5,000 for micro. Our intercept height today, we will be intercepting at the, I believe, Hairn will be the waypoint that we intercept. Yes, at 3,100 is intercept height. And now we go down to 6,000. Still getting thrown around by the winds. We got a 66 knot head to crosswind from left to right. Winds are out of the west at the moment, which is slightly concerning given that we've set up to land east. I'm going to check if there's a new METAR, and then no, there's not, so we need to go to backup. I'm using my phone. Breaking rule number 1, right? So, arrivals into Portland right now are still landing east, so I am going to take my chances that in the next 10 minutes the winds are not going to shift. But if we're established on a 3-mile final and we have a 20 knot tailwind, I will go around and land the other way. We have crossed and at 6,000, so from micro we're going down to 5,000, just baby steps. And then at micro we will descend down to 3,100 to establish ourselves on the localizer. We need to slow also here to 210 knots. Our landing speed, I believe, is 142 will be our approach speed. So, can lower flaps 1. That's going to force the nose of the aircraft down, which will help us descend briefly. We only have our flaps 1 down. We don't have slats down. We only have slats down, not flaps. Slats are the on the front of the wing. For anyone who's ever sat in front of the wing, they're the part of the wing that come down forward as the aircraft increases flaps or decreases flaps. They go up. We are looking good though descent-wise. At micro, we will descend down to 3,100 at a rate of about 1,200 feet per minute. That will get us on a good rate to intercept at, what's the name of that waypoint? Hairn. Hairn is 12.2 DME. That's a long enough final for us. We'll get established and we'll hand fly once we see the ground. We are at 5,000. We are crossing micro, so now we will go down. There is an aircraft off to the right. I should run 3,000.
Portland traffic, Frontier Flight 793 on final, runway 10 left, Portland.
Last aircraft calling. Are you out of the clouds yet? Yes, air traffic. That is an aircraft on final for the other runway. You shouldn't be able to see him through the clouds, but you can. It's just another Fs2020ism. What is happening here? We are going to turn left. Hello. Heading 300. I'm not sure why that just happened. I'm actually going to turn left heading... What is approach heading? We were automatically disconnected. Okay. Well, approach course 103. So that's going to be what? 283 for downwind. I'm also going to slow to 170 knots. Make sure we get this guy way out ahead of us so we don't have to worry about hitting him. I'll slow to 175 or getting too close to him. We'd never hit him, but getting too close to him might be an issue. Hearn. Yeah, we're going to intercept at Hearn, 3,100. Get everybody sitting down. The flaps too. Winds are still out of the west, but only at 30 knots, which is much better than what it was. I am going to turn right. 283 plus 90 is 373, so 023 will be our 90-degree turn. Downwind to base. Alrighty. We're going to make a tight turn here. Our base to final turn is going to be very tight. We are holding at 3,100. Go around altitude is missed approach. Climb to 1,100, 5,000. So now set, and we can make our right turn. Heading 095 to intercept the localizer. And we are going to do exactly that. Oh, come on. Come on, intercept the localizer. And we overshot the localizer by a large amount. So what I need to do, I need to turn right past runway heading. This is not good. That's an issue with the sim. We're gonna turn right heading 125. Intercept height at the next waypoint, which is Powell's, is 2,000. So we're gonna descend and maintain 2,000. Until we can establish. I'm actually going to cut the turn to 120. Descend, buddy. I'm going to turn the runway, or the nose light rather, to take off. So when we put the gear down, we'll be able to see. We have to intercept outside of 2 miles from the final approach fix, which is Powell's here. So I'm just trying to get us on a turn that will get us on that localizer.
2,500.
And let's see, will we actually intercept the localizer this time? It appears that we are trying. Or we're not trying. Okay, I'm going to manually take control of the aircraft. I don't know why we were not intercepting the localizer. But now I have it I have it. And I need to push the nose down a little bit. Lap 3. We'll slow to 140 knots. We shouldn't have to be hand flying at this point, but we are gear down. Gear down. I don't know why it takes 2 tries, but that's that traffic off to our left. We're going to get in behind him, no problem. Portland traffic, Delta 1661, 5 mile final, 10 right. And our final is 142, so just want to try to make sure that we're staying on course, full flaps. Flight director. It's showing me as being extraordinarily high. So I am going to try to get us down as fast as I can safely. This looks like at this point that we may have to go around if we don't get a low enough visual to the field, which at this moment I don't have a good visual. The winds did shift, so this is the right approach. We're actually looking decently good.
500.
Yeah, I don't have the runway. I don't have the ground or the runway in sight.
400.
Just flying the approach. I can sort of, kind of see, runway in sight. Auto throttle.
Minimum.
Continue. And gone again.
100.
Going around.
40. 20. Retard. Retard. Retard.
Full flaps. Flaps 2, gear up. We're going missed. Portland traffic, Delta 1661, missed approach going around. We're going to climb to 5,000. Climb thrust. That was tricky. That did not look good. Would this be easier with air traffic control? Maybe. It would be easier if my ILS actually established itself. So for missed approach, they told us missed approach procedure is to turn right and re-enter the pattern essentially. So I'm going to turn right, heading 180. That was not going to end well. If we tried to continue that approach, that was not going to end well at all. And what we're going to do now, because the weather is as poor as it is, I'm going to look to see if there's a category, yeah, there's a category 2 or 3 ILS approach, which is different. Our minimums for that is 100. I need to be able to see the ground by the time we hit 100. So, performance, I don't want to have to go around a third time. So, approach, decision height is 100. We're going to intercept we'll try to intercept at Heron again. Heron was 3,100. We can now turn right heading 280. And we're going to speed up. We're going to hit 220 knots. That way we can hold flaps 2. We still have our ILS frequency, except now it has us for 28 left, which is the same runway, just the opposite end. That was, what's the fuel situation like? We have 5,320 kilograms of fuel on board, so we have plenty of fuel. We can... Why is the cloud cover so low? I don't know. Ask whoever generated the weather for Portland. You would... Oh. Was it not? Oh, it's 190. My apologies, we were over speed. I'm actually going to turn us left a little bit so we have a longer period of time to get us on the ILS frequency. What the reason why this is happening is because the visibility was so low at Portland, and the autopilot, I was trying to get the autopilot to get us lined up on our final approach course, but we overshot it twice, which is when I took manual control. And because I took manual control, I was trying to get us established on the lateral component, like the left, if we're coming in left or right of the runway, which is this bar down here versus the vertical component, which if we were established a little bit further out, I think, you know, what that ended up happening wasn't bad, because I did see the runway. We almost landed. I was just too high. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to see if I can't get the autopilot to pick up the ILS frequency, and have the autopilot fly it to our minimums of 100 feet, which is the difference between a Category 2 ILS and the normal ILS localizer approach, which is what we tried to do last time. I am going to give us a significantly wider berth for our base to final turn. In flying, there's 4 legs. If you picture a rectangle, there's the runway is essentially part of one leg, and then as you go past the runway, that's your upwind leg. Then you make a right or your left to go 90 degrees perpendicular. That's your crosswind leg. Then you make another 90-degree turn in the same direction. You're going in the opposite direction of the runway, passing it as the downwind leg. Then that 90 to 45-degree turn is your base. And then that last segment where you're straight in is obviously final approach. But it is nasty. We're going to descend to 3,001. Jeez, man. We're going to descend to 3,100 feet for our intercept height. What I really should have done the first time around was get us to 3,100 earlier and have us intercept about 7 miles or greater from Heron, which was the initial fix I tried to get us set up at. Aaron, to answer your fuel question, we have enough fuel to go around about probably 10 times. Why are you going so fast? Why are you descending that fast? This is like another weird thing with the aircraft. It doesn't need to descend at 2,800 feet per minute. It can descend at 1,200 feet per minute, and that will more than suffice. Still no update on the weather out of Portland. So all we have is the info as of an hour ago. Now I'm going to turn right to 280. Turn right 20 degrees. That'll get us on our downwind. We are still flying with flaps 2. I'm going to go auto brakes medium because the ground is obviously wet. So right now I've given us about a 5-mile gap, which maybe I want to make it more. I do want to make it more. I'm going to give us about 7 to 10 miles for base. So I'm actually going to continue that left turn. it is back to IPDX, so we have the right localizer, runway 10 right. Everything was looking good until we went to intercept the localizer, and then it went bad. So now that we have our 10-mile berth for that turn, I'm going to turn back right to 270 or 280. Portland has to update its weather. Thanks something. Okay, so as of 10 minutes ago, which I don't know why it's coming up this late, but as of 10 minutes ago, the winds are 180 at 1-1. So we actually need to update our information. Winds are 180 at 1-1. Winds are 180 at 1-1. The visibility, it says visibility 10 statute miles, which is just not the case. With broken clouds at 1,700, which I believe, because we did not break out, and I'm pretty sure Portland's altitude is significantly above sea level. Like touchdown zone elevation is at sea level, so the Sims weather is wrong. Maybe I need to fix it. I don't know. Did that fix something? That didn't look like it changed anything. Anyway, I'm going to start that right turn. We're going to turn to 030 while I'm entering this information. The temperature still 11, and the altimeter is 2988. So that probably would have helped too if we would have had the right altimeter. We're gonna try it again. We're about 5 miles from the localizer, but this time I think we have enough set up where we can grab it. I'm gonna slow us down to final approach speed, or I'll put us to 155 and give us flaps 3, just to make sure that we're nice and slow. Make sure that everybody's sitting down. Looking good altitude wise. I'm gonna make a slight right turn at about a mile. We'll turn right heading about 075, and that'll get us on a good intercept course. Last time I cut it a little sharp. Let's just see what that would look like. We're 17 DME right now from the end of the runway. We're 17 miles out. And we are low and slow, but we are that way on purpose. I'm going to turn right now to 080 as we grab the localizer. Did it grab? Did it grab? No, it did not. What are you doing? Okay, we crossed the localizer again. Oh, the runway heading is not 90. It's, oh, I was not thinking. Alright, we're going to go back to 140, and that'll get us right back to the localizer. Actually, we can go 125 or 120.
2,500.
Now, does that do it if I... Will that intercept the localizer? Well, let's find out. Are you going to start a left turn? No. about approach? You're not going to start a left turn either. Autopilot disconnected. Try this again. I'm going to do it manually. I believe this is going to be the only way to do. I think there's something wrong with the flight model. That, you know, in a recent update or something, that the navigation, or more specifically the ILS localizer, is just not intercepting. So if I put on the localizer, will it stick? No. Okay. Alright. We'll deal with it. We're gonna hand fly, and that's fine. We go 142. I believe that's our final, right? Yes, 142. And we have a significant tailwind at the moment. We're about 10 miles out. It's difficult when you can't see to try to land. It's especially more difficult when you don't have autopilot capabilities. But right now it actually looks like we have the lateral component of the...
2,500.
We're looking decently good. Gear down, full flaps. That's our nose light popping on again. And now I believe we're going to be left. I don't know why this is being so strange. We need to descend. I'd rather be too low than too high, because then I can at least see the ground. We keep going back and forth across the localizer. Just driving me crazy. This one I'm going to try to put it down. I shouldn't say I don't care if I'm high. I do care that if I'm high or low. I would not like to go around a third time if I can avoid it. Especially given that the third approach will weather-wise be just like the first and the second. So, not trying to have that situation happen. Keep losing the localizer. Glide slope's looking good. That's the vertical component there. That's this diamond. We're pretty much right on with that diamond. I'm trying to keep the two of them working together. Why am I losing speed? I shouldn't be losing speed. Thank you. Slide to the left, and we're gonna nose down just a bit. According to the METAR, we should have broken out at 1,700 feet, which just simply did not happen. Portland traffic, Delta 1661, 2.5 mile final, runway 10 right. I should have called that earlier, but that's okay. We are slightly left of center line. I still can't see the ground. So at this point, we would have done a Category 3 ILS auto land, where we would have let the computer land the aircraft. Slightly right of center line. Hold it here.
500.
Okay. Still can't see the ground. We're low. We are low. We are low.
300.
It's alright. We can hold right here and wait for the thing to come back down. There you go.
100 above. 200.
Runway lights, although I'm still flying the ILS. Runway in sight. Yeah, we're very high again.
Minimum 100.
This is not going well. Whoa, okay.
20. Retard. Retard. Retard.
fact that we even put that down is pretty amazing, but that was not good. I mean, for the circumstances where we didn't have an autopilot, that was pretty good, but in general, that I've had better landings. I was really tempted, and I quite honestly, I should have gone around a third time. Whoa, brakes are not working. Hello? Hello? Okay, thanks. That would have been bad. I guess I shouldn't try to take a high speed off of the runway. Thank you, Aaron. That was I'm literally sweating in the chair. That was... I can't even see now. Like, we're off the runway, and I can't see at all. That kind of an approach is... that never would have happened. Thank you. That never would have happened in the real world. You know, having an ILS Category 3 situation with no autopilot, that would never, ever happen in the real world. So that was something.